It's something we put in our bodies every day. But just how regulated is it?
Some new standards on tap for bottled water companies here in the country. I'll tell you what they are coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
And then,
coming up in the Bahamas tonight, a royal visit to the Royal Bahamas Defense Force Base. The details ahead.
Full coverage of the royal visit to the Bahamas. And Bahamian Buddy Hield gets one step closer to a rare recognition. ZNS Total Sports breaks it down. The Bahamas tonight. The National Report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Everyday.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And I'm Karissma Robinson.
Topping the news tonight, with the 4 constitutional amendments to the gender equality bills just a step away from a national referendum, the Parliamentary Registration Department has intensified its efforts ahead of the poll.
This also comes as the road to register for next year's general election kicks into full gear. Clint Watson was at the department this morning amidst a voter registration drive put on by the Progressive Liberal Party.
A day after that historic vote in Parliament, and the Parliamentary Registration Department is buzzing with activity. Parliamentary Commissioner Sherlyn confirms that the existing register from 2012 will be the register for the referendum if it's called.
The current 2012 register is still valid, so persons who wish to vote in the upcoming referendum can register today once they bring to us their passport or a birth certificate. If you're born after 1973, your birth certificate, along with your mother's documents to make sure she is a citizen of the Bahamas. We would register you on the current 2012 register, and that would enable you to vote in the referendum between now and July.
Now, if you voted in the last general elections, you don't have to register again for the referendum. However, you must complete the process again for next year's general elections.
We will register you for the 2017 register, which the voters card changes. As a purple voters card. We can register you for the 2017. We will not give that card to you directly. We will keep that card until the Boundary Commission makes a decision whether there are changes to the boundaries. Once the Boundary Commission completes that decision, makes their decision, then we will reissue those cards. We'll advise all citizens accordingly.
So the registration is going on now. Persons they'll get a receipt, but not an actual voter's card.
That's correct. You'll get a receipt for the 2017 register, but once new persons, once you register for 2012, we give you a card right away, which is a yellow card.
Registration of the department is reportedly going smooth. He noted challenges at the Freeport Registration Office with persons coming in with the required documents. The governing Progressive Liberal Party executing its latest voter registration drive. The focus this time was on the elderly and young people. Parading from the party's headquarters a short distance away, PLP Chairman Bradley Roberts says it's a part of an ongoing exercise to stimulate and excite Bahamians to register.
There will be a general election in 2017, and for those persons who have not registered at all and wish to participate in the referendum exercise that will be held shortly, I urge them to go and get registered.
The PLP is holding ongoing programs to encourage registration, and with the concern of lower voter turnout in Caribbean nations like Jamaica, Roberts is convinced that won't happen here, as the Bahamas is known for high voter turnout. He says the party is optimistic going into next general elections.
The economy of the Bahamas was in a wheelchair, to use Dr. Menace's word. And we have made significant progress, and the trajectory ahead is a very positive one. The key is the young people, and you see many of them around us here this morning. They hold the key to the success of elections in the future. They have the numbers. All right. And we must acknowledge that power that they have and to take care of our young people.
And the Parliamentary Registration Department is encouraging Bahamians to come in and register and not wait until deadline, so they're able to not only vote in the 2017 general elections, but to ensure they're good for the upcoming referendum. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Thanks so much, Clint. The gender equality bills are now on their way to the Senate, and members of the upper chamber are scheduled to meet on Monday.
Now it's the next legislative step for the proposed legislation, which has garnered broad feedback.
The proposed changes to the Constitution will level the playing field for future generations, impacting every sector of Bahamian life. In support of the gender equality bills, men and women turned out in droves to Rawson Square Wednesday as the historic vote took place within the halls of Parliament. For Bahamians Alexandria, Maillis-Lynch, and Jane Adderley, the changes could not have come at a better time.
I, as a Bahamian woman, if I married a foreign man and had a baby by emergency in the United States, my baby is not a Bahamian. That is madness to me. But a woman who has an illegitimate child here, to any man has a baby that is a Bahamian. That's craziness to me, because it makes me feel like everything that I've done is not valued or worth it. That we're just second-class citizens.
I have 4 daughters, and I have 3 granddaughters, and I now have 2 great-granddaughters. And so I feel as though this is the best thing for them that has happened recently.
Now, civic organizations also pledged their support to the proposed amendments. Delta Sigma Theta sorority member Myra Mitchell says while some may oppose the bills, she hopes that Bahamians will get a clearer understanding and see the bigger picture.
It's just about communicating what it is about, because it's really about gender equality. And anyone who is not for gender equality really doesn't have the right attitude. We are progressive ladies of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, so whatever it takes for us to make it happen, we will.
Now, the message of equality also resonating with C.R. Walker High School students Dermonique Stubbs and Justin Smith.
As a young adult, but more like a female, exiting high school, I want to get involved in stuff that are predominantly male, and I don't want to be judged by my gender. I want to be judged by what I'm capable of doing.
We have many women leading households and running households, and women are predominant in the jobs in most banks and teaching. The teaching profession we have is predominantly women. So I think the time has come for that to be gone away with.
LGBT activist Erin Green also acknowledged that the bills have gone through the first phase, but continued education is important to ensure that they are not sullied by political influence.
When we focus on the facts, when we focus on the data, the information, and understanding the law, then we don't get caught up in the politics, because we understand the distinction between what is political opinion and what is actual law.
The referendum on gender equality is expected to take place by summer 2016. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Thanks so much, Janaea. The National Insurance Board's multi-million-dollar information technology system is almost complete.
Carla Palmer tells us that by the end of this month, 340,000 registrants will be able to enjoy the enhanced benefits.
Once the National Insurance Board's new multi-million-dollar V3 Insurance Administration information technology system is fully operational, NIB Minister Shane Gibson says customers have the option of trading packed parking lots and long lines for convenience and time saved commuting, providing they are computer literate.
Once fully deployed, our new insurance system will offer all of the modern conveniences of electronic online transactions, making it easier for customers to submit claims, register, pay contributions, and get information. The end result will be an improved and easier to use insurance system overall.
With the new IT system, Minister Gibson says the majority of short-term benefits will be deposited directly to some 340,000 customer bank accounts, and likewise, employers will also be able to request and receive letters of good standing via email. Minister Gibson also revealed that no new registrants will be processed after March 10th during the transitional period. He is also encouraging foreign nationals without work permits to regularize their status as soon as possible.
Starting March 10th, NIB will begin the final phase in this modernization exercise. To accommodate this major transaction, the system will revert to manual for a period of 2 weeks. And rest assured that customers will continue to receive their benefits as claims will be processed manually. Once the system is back online on March 30th, NIB customers will expect a faster, smarter, and easier to use system.
National Insurance Board Director Rowena Bethel says the improvements at NIB will not stop here.
Looking at other initiatives within NIB that will enable us to organize and plan our processes around the needs of our stakeholders. For example, in the very near future, we will be able to make available to the public a customer advocacy group, which will be a group of employees within NIB, we're in the design phases now, that will look at ensuring that the customer's journey and his experience with NIB is a meaningful one and is dealt with in an efficient way.
This new IT system at NIB is replacing a 28-year-old system which officials say can now be accessed anywhere in the world. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
The Bureau of Standards and Quality is monitoring the bottled water industry to ensure that customers are protected from those who try to pass on water that has not been tested for consumption.
Now, LeDaunne Davis tells us about some new standards which are in place to regulate the sector and guarantee product safety at the end of the day.
Specification of packaged water as well as code of hygiene are among the new standards local producers of bottled water companies will soon have to comply to. Now, the new demands will not only apply to water production but food as well. These are required to facilitate the trade of locally made and used goods, boost our economy, promote the production of goods, and will also ensure that the Bahamas complies with regional and international treaties. With a $1 billion import bill, Minister of Financial Services, the Honorable Hope Strachan, says these standards are critical to the health and well-being of all Bahamians.
Regarding the specification for packaged water, it addresses requirements for the quality, safety, treatment, bacteriological acceptability, storing, collecting, packaging, and labeling of all types of water relative to the Code of Hygiene Practice for packaged water. This outlines the requirements for appropriate general techniques for collecting, processing, packaging, storing, transporting, distributing, and offered for sale. We are declaring today a Code of Practice General Principles of Food Hygiene. This outlines the essential principles of food hygiene within the food chain from primary production to the final consumer.
With several water depots across this country, Chairman of the Price Control Commission E.J. Bowe says, while there have been cases surfacing over water safety and false labeling, that will not happen under these new standards.
When a storm is traveling, the fellas, some of them, they just go into the pine barren, pump water out of the ground, bottle it, get it to the roadside, and start selling. A couple of occasions I had to call environmental health in Freeport and in New Providence and just close them down, and I like the consumers to say, no good, you don't purchase that type of water there.
Public Relations Manager for Aquapure, Knowles, says he fully supports the standards that's been long overdue here in this country.
It's a very necessary thing, and not just for the regulation, but for the people, for the safety of the Bahamian people. We're talking about bottled water. It's something that that no matter what we need to drink, we need to consume.
Meanwhile, officers from the Bureau of Standards and the Price Control Commission will conduct daily inspections to ensure that all vendors are in compliance. All standards will come into effect on July 1st, 2016. LeDaunne Davis, ZNS Network News.